This is the only Arcane Mage guide you are going to need for Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. Hello, my name is Javier and I'm here to make your life in World of Warcraft a lot easier. First off, looking at the stat priorities we're going to want. First and foremost, it is going to be hit chance. However, we are going to be getting a hell of a ton of hit chance from our talents, and therefore from the gear, it doesn't really have much impact. The second up is going to be crit chance. Then we're going to want spell damage or arcane damage. These are actually going to be equal to each other. Arcane damage generally coming higher on a lot of the pre-biz gear. More on that soon. And then intellect, and then spirit or MP5. The first thing we're going to want to do on the talent tree is put 5 points into arcane focus, reducing the resist chance of our arcane spells by a huge 10%. Then we're going to put 5 points into arcane concentration, meaning that we have a chance to go into a clear casting state where our next spell will cost no mana. This is really, really important. And what you're going to see in this talent tree and build that I'm going to be showing you is that we're going to be putting a lot of importance into mana, and more on that shortly as to why. We're going to put 1 point into Arcane Resilience, increasing our armor by an amount equal to 50% of our intellect. That's kind of a no-brainer with that one on survivability, but more so, it's because it's going to let us go down into Arcane Mind later in the tree. We're going to put 3 out of 3 into Improved Arcane Explosion, increasing the crit chance of it by an additional 6%, and 2 out of 2 points into Magic Attunement, increasing the effect of our Amplify Magic and Dampen Magic by 50%. Then we're going to go down one more, putting 3 points into Arcane Meditation, something I really need, allowing 15% of our mana regen to continue while we are still casting. And we're also going to put 2 points back up at the top into Arcane Subtlety, reducing the target's resistance to all of our spells by 10 and reducing the threat we cause by arcane spells by 40%, which is going to be really, really good in raiding, so making sure that we're not taking all that threat away from the tank, of course. Now we get to the really juicy bit of the tree, Arcane Mind. 5 out of 5 points in there, increasing our mana by 10%. Remember I said mana is going to be really important. We're then going to put 1 point into Presence of Mind. When activated on a 3-minute cooldown, your next mage spell with a casting time less than 10 seconds becomes an instant cast spell. Woohoo for us on the instant cast. 3 out of 3 into Arcane Instability, increasing your spell damage and crit strike chance by another 3%. Remember, we've already got another 6% on our Arcane Explosion as well, so we're just critting all day long, all day and night even. And then lastly, we're going to put 1 point, which is taking us up to level 40, at Arcane Power. Again, another cooldown on a 3-minute cooldown. When we activate this, our spells are going to deal 30% more damage, while costing 30% more mana to cast, and it is going to last 15 seconds. Now let's head over onto the runes. And this is where it gets really exciting. We're going to put our first one into Enlightenment, where we deal 10% more damage while we have above 70% mana. When we have below 30% mana, 10% of our mana regen is going to continue while casting. So again, you can start to see how the mana is going to start coming into a bit more of play here. The next one is going to be Living Flame, and this is going to summon a spell flame. It literally does like trickle forward towards the enemy. It's quite cool. Moves towards the target, leaving a trail of spellfire. This is going to deal a load of damage every second to nearby enemies and lasts 20 seconds. Especially as there is bosses with a lot of ads, etc. This is going to be really, really good. If you want to go for something like super duper fun, you can go for Arcane Surge, unleashing all of your remaining mana in a surge of energy focused at the target, dealing a ton of damage. Increases up to 300% based on your mana remaining. And afterwards, your normal mana regen is activated and increased by 300% for 8 seconds. While I don't believe that Arcane Surge, at least in my testing and simming, etc., is the best way to go, I do believe it's Living Flame. If you just want to have fun, I think Arcane Surge is so fun. So, you know, it's up to you. If you're min-maxing, go for Living Flame. If you're just out here for a good time, then go for Arcane Surge. Obviously, it's going to be Arcane Blast on the next one, blasting the target with damage. Each time you cast it, the damage and healing of your other arcane spells is increased by 15%, and the mana cost of Arcane Blast increased astronomically. This stacks up to 4 times and lasts 6 seconds or until any other arcane damage or healing spell is cast. So you can stack this up as an increasing rate to the point where you're going to be doing using insane mana, but also doing insane damage with your Arcane Blast. And then we're going to go for Missile Barrage on the waste slot, giving our Arcane Blast a 40% chance to reduce the channeled duration of our next arcane missiles by 50%, meaning it gets that damage out quicker, reducing the mana cost by 100%, and missiles will fire every 0.5 seconds. You can see how it's starting to come together with the arcane missiles and arcane blast, etc. It's really, really fun altogether. I love it so much. And then, really simply, I feel like Blizzard have been quite lazy here, but I'm not really complaining. I think it's so fun still. Spell power increases the crit strike damage bonus of all spells by 50%, and that is why we want so much crit as one of our top priority stats in this phase. Now, speaking of what stats we're going to have, let's go have a look at what Pre-Bis and Biz Gear we're going to be trying to get. So first up, of course, looking at Pre-Biz, we're going to go for the Lunar Coronet on the head, and when it says random enchantment, this is going to always be arcane damage, of course, that we're going to want as an arcane mage in phase 2 of SoD. So when it says that, just remember that's what you're going for, okay? No nasty fire or frost in here, thank you very much. Jagged Bone Necklace, this is from BFD on Twilight Lord Kelris. BFD is absolutely fantastic. If you're still leveling and watching this video, BFD is the way to go. You get 3k XP per boss, and it will go up to level 39. You should really be doing it every reset. It's insane. Royal Amice on the shoulders, which is a BOE. A lot of these are actually BOEs. Bloodwoven Cloak, again, another BOE. Another BOE could be really expensive on the AH, Robe of the Magi. Bloodwoven on the wrists, and then the Celestial Stave on the staff, which you can see here. This is actually a mage-specific one, and it's from the quest Celestial Power. These are all quite straightforward on what they've got on them, regarding stats, etc. Black Mage Weave Gloves from Tailoring, increasing damage and healing by 15, again on the hands. Star Belt, again from Tailoring, BOE on the belt. Soul Leech Pants from Arcane go on the legs. On the boots, you probably already have this if you've been playing Phase 1, but these are the extra planar spider silks. These are from Tailoring in Phase 1. Check out my What to Do First level 25 video, or in Phase 1, it's called something like that, for how to get these. Signet of the Twilight Lord from Twilight Lord Kelris, again from BFD. Lawkeeper's Ring from PvP. Rune of Perfection from PvP. Invokers, this is from Arcane on the last boss. And the Necrotic Wand is from Ashir, the Sleepless in Scarlet Monastery, on the wand. Now going on to the Biz, it gets a bit more exciting. We've got the Neuro-linked Arcanofilament Monocle on the head, and this is the new Tailoring epic item that we can get at level 40, increasing damage and healing, of course, some MP5 and intellect, but when you use it, it's going to reduce the mana cost of all spells by 50%, which is insane, especially when you think if we're using this Arcane Blast, etc., as an Arcane Mage, this is insanity how good this is. And increasing the damage and healing done by your spells by 50 for 12 seconds. I think for Arcane Mage, this actually comes out best out of all the other casters. It's really great for everyone, but considering how mana works with our Arcane Mages, this is phenomenal. From the Mad King in Nomagon, we've got the Nomagon Peace Officer's Talk on the neck. And from Vicious Fallen is the Synthetic Mantle on the shoulders. These are all Nomagon, by the way. Bloodrock Cloak is from the PvP event in Stranglethorn Vale. And then the Irradiated Robe from Electrocutioner Thermoplug, or whatever the hell his name is. This is where we get this set item. It's increasing your crit chance by 1%. It's increasing healing and damage done. It's also taking your 5 stamina and strength, but it is adding spirit, intellect, and nature resistance. This is a really, really good set. And it also is going to be on the legs and the boots as well. Dryad's Wrist Bindings, which I'm in the way of here, these are actually from PvP Warsong Gulch. In fact, let's just shimmy on over to here, shall we? These are actually, yes, from Warsong Gulch. You need to get the Exalted Will of Warsong Outriders to get it. Staff of the Evil Genius on the staff from the Electrocutioner 6000. This is going to increase your hit by 1% and also your healing done and damage done, etc. Pretty self-explanatory. Dreamweave Tailoring on the hands. Hyperconductive Gold Wrap is actually a heads or tails effect on crit chance or movement speed when you use it on a 15-minute cooldown. It is from Engineering, so if you're like, I'm not taking Engineering as a mage, then go for the Volatile Concoction Belt from Grubbis instead, but the Engineering one is Biz. Again, we've already spoken about the legs and boots. That's the same set piece I showed you on the chest. Blood Resonant Circle. This is from, again, the PvP vendor at the Gurbashi Arena in the Stranglethorn Vale. Basically, when you get this, there's actually one for Arcane Fire and Frost. Obviously, we want this one for Arcane. Hypercharged Gear of Conflagration. Again, is another unique equipped... Oh my gosh! Unique equipped ring! I think that was a demon that just took over my body then. This is unique equipped, giving intellect, nature, and arcane resistance, and is from Mechanier Thermoplug himself. Same again on this trinket, the miniaturized combustion chamber. This is going to channel randomly between 1 to 150 health into mana, again being phenomenal for arcane mages, and then increasing damage and healing done, giving you some intellect and fire resistance. Invoker's Void Pearl is still actually best in slot from Arcane in Phase 1 at the end of BFD. And then the Never Force Wand is from Tabitha in Dust Wallow Marsh. It's the mage wand spell that you can do from level 30. Again, this is one where you can choose Arcane, Fire or Frost. We're of course taking the Arcane one for an Arcane Mage. Now, we've already spoken a little bit on professions, and obviously I'm telling you to take tailoring. The other one I would recommend is probably going to be enchanting for this cheeky seal of innovation here. And this is going to increase your spell power by 20 for 30 minutes, and you can use this whenever the hell you like, really. But it doesn't persist through death, and therefore, if you do die, it's going to come off. Otherwise, alchemy is a good idea. With tailoring, of course, enchanting goes really, really well with it, specifically because it doesn't need a separate gathering profession. On what consumables you're going to have, there's the Greater Mana Potion. This should be quite cheap now on the auction house. Sagefish Delight, giving you some mana back every 5 seconds. The Lesser Arcane Elixir is going to increase spell damage by 14 for 30 minutes. And you can use the Lesser Wizard Oil on your weapon. And yes, you can use this with the Lesser Arcane Elixir, increasing spell damage by up to 16. And that also lasts for 30 minutes. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much everything you need to know to play Arcane Mage in Phase 2. A few other things I want to note is if you want to see me playing this, I am actually now streaming on Twitch over at Javi Heals. Just link in the description down below for that. And if you have any questions regarding UI, add-ons, rotations, anything at all, whether it's classic or retail, please do join my Discord, where we have a very, very knowledgeable community of over 2,200, I think now. Very, very welcoming for beginners. People in there who are really, really happy to help and, build that community, which we've already established. And we are also going to be running raids in Nomagan, etc. on EU, so join so you don't miss out on that.